All right, so I am out here on a kind of cloudy and dusty kind of day. You can see the dust over here. There's farmers out. It's getting ready for planting time out here in Iowa. But anyway, this is the South Jordan National Cemetery, or not National, Township Cemetery, here in Iowa near the town of Morehead. And what's interesting about this cemetery is that it's a cemetery most locals have often known as the Negro or the Black Cemetery. And I'll have to look into this more, but I've come out here. The story is that I think it was sometime around in the 1880s, there was a small black community that came out here, and they stayed long enough to have a cemetery, and I think there are some other locals buried as well. Looks like I don't want to trespass on this thing, but this is just kind of a cool looking cemetery out here that, I don't know, it's interesting. You don't get a lot of African Americans out here, but you know, Iowa would have been a place that they probably would have done pretty well. At least you would think so. And it's not necessarily very well kept up, but it's not town. It looks like there's still some graves in here. I want to take a look. Looks like there, the gate. Better be respectful. Technically, I didn't see anything saying we couldn't trespass in, but this is here. There's kind of this nice oak tree. And like I said, I want to be respectful of those out here. It looks like there's even maybe a couple more modern burials, but I'm interested by the fact that this is just out here, and I don't know, or at least I can't remember the full-on story of why there's an African American cemetery here in this rural, isolated part of Iowa, but it's cool that they have this though. And it's cool that at least they know what's here. It looks like there's a marker up here. So let's take a look at this here. Settlement shrouded in mystery. So it looks like here, local tales have several important consistencies. First, Adam Myers purchased this land in the 1850s. And second, a number of African Americans came with him and his family to help work the land. Some of the members of this community were buried in South Jordan Cemetery, which is located on Myers' property. It is likely that the burials were freed slaves that moved north, displaced by the Civil War. Myers brought them to settle with Iowa. For whatever their reason for coming north, most were gone by 1910. Monona County was one of the most northern black settlements in Iowa. The cemetery is all that remains of this community. It looks like here, the South Jordan Cemetery is representative of an uncommon late 19th century African American settlement in rural agrarian Iowa. The first known burial was in 1882. The last associated with the settlement was in 1907, and there are 11 markers remaining within the cemetery. Some markers cannot be associated with any particular individual, as names and dates have been lost. As many as 30 burials are unmarked and unknown, and a large, solitary, mature oak tree is the only tree within the cemetery proper. And its size suggests it has been here as long as the cemetery. So, that's the oak tree that is here. And just, you know, this is kind of a good place to rest. course, it's kind of out of the way here. There's a minimum maintenance road, and we're about halfway. If anybody's watching this, it's western Iowa, we're about halfway between Sioux City, Iowa, and Omaha, Nebraska, which are both about 50 miles in either direction, give or take, maybe more like an hour. And I don't know, this is just one of the cooler places I think about the Loess Hills. You don't really have a lot of this African American history here. So that's it. Thank you.